What is an animal? What makes an animal an animal? Animals are members of kingdom Animalia and are heterotrophs. They obtain nutrients and energy by eating other organisms, including both consumers and predators. Animals are also multicellular. Their bodies are composed of many cells. The cells that make up animal bodies are eukaryotic, containing a nucleus, and membrane bound organelles. Unlike the cells of algae, fungus, and plants, animal cells lack cell walls. What characteristics distinguish invertebrates and chordates? Invertebrates include all animals that lack a backbone or vertebral column. More than 95% of animal species are informally called invertebrates. Invertebrates include at least 33 phyla. Invertebrates include sea stars, worms, jellyfish, insects like butterflies. They range in size from dust mites to giant squid, more than 20 meters long. Invertebrates are included here with flatworm, jellyfish, starfish, shrimp, sponge, snail, scallop, and spider. Fewer than 5% of animal species are chordates, members of the phylum Chordata. All chordates exhibit four characteristics: a dorsal hollow nerve cord, a notochord, the future spine, a tail that extends beyond the anus, and pharyngeal pouches, which develop into critical parts in the head and neck. So in here, muscle segments, there's the tail, anus, notochord, and the hollow nerve cord. Here's the mouth, and here's the pharyngeal pouches. Most chordates develop a backbone or vertebral column constructed of bones called vertebrae. Chordates with backbones are called vertebrates and include fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. Non-vertebral chordates are called tunicates. What essential function must animals perform to survive? Like all organisms, animals must maintain homeostasis, that's eliminating carbon dioxide and wastes, gather and respond to information, dangers, obtain and distribute oxygen and nutrients, and reproduce. All organisms must keep their internal environment relatively stable, a process known as maintaining homeostasis. In animals, maintaining homeostasis is the most important function of all body systems. For example, reptiles, birds, and mammals cannot excrete salt. Those that spend time hunting or feeding in salt water, such as the marine iguana, have a mechanism that allows them to remove salt from their bodies. Marine iguanas maintain homeostasis by sneezing a combination of salt and nasal mucus that sometimes coats their bumpy heads and spiny necks. The nervous system gathers information using cells called receptors that respond to sound, light, chemicals, and other stimuli. Other nerve cells collect and process the information and determine how to respond. The sensory receptors gather information, sound, odor, visual clues. They send it to the brain. Interneurons process information and determine the necessary response. Animals often respond to the information processed in their nervous system by moving. Muscle tissue generates force by becoming stronger when stimulated by the nervous system. Muscles work together with supporting structure, usually a skeleton, to make up the muscular skeletal system. So nervous and muscular skeletal systems. So the nervous system stimulates muscles, and the brain coordinates muscle action for escape response. Some invertebrates have only a loose network of nerve cells with no real center. Other invertebrates and most chordates have large number of nerve cells connected into a brain. So the ganglia for a flatworm, there's some nerve cells in the cnidarian, and yes, the C is silent. In arthropods, brain with the ganglia, nerve endings. Skeletons vary widely from phylum to phylum. Some invertebrates, such as earthworms, have skeletons without bones that are flexible and function through a use of fluid pressure. Insects and some other invertebrates have external skeletons. The hard shell of a lobster is an external skeleton. The bones of vertebrates form an internal skeleton. Your bones are part of your internal skeleton. All animals must breathe to obtain oxygen. Small animals that live in water or in wet places can breathe by allowing oxygen to diffuse across their skin from the water. Larger water dwelling animals use a respiratory system based on one of many different kinds of gills, lungs, or air passages. So, for respiratory and circulatory systems, oxygen comes in, carbon dioxide comes out. And in digestive and circulatory systems, the acquisition of nutrients and their distribution to body system, and the digestion, circulatory, and excretory systems process it and remove the waste. The process for all animals is fairly simple. Oxygen in, food in, out, carbon dioxide, feces out, solid waste, and urine, liquid waste. Oxygen in, carbon dioxide out, feces out, water in. And some animals, like birds and insects, combine feces and urine in one excrement. Most animals reproduce sexually by producing haploid gametes. Sexual reproduction helps create and maintain genetic diversity, which increases a species' ability to adapt to its environment. Like many vertebrates, a Suriname sea toad cares for her young while they develop. Unlike most animals, she carries her eggs on her back. Many invertebrates and a few vertebrates can also reproduce asexually. Asexual reproduction produces offspring that are genetically identical to the parent. It allows animals to increase their number rapidly, but does not generate genetic diversity. They reproduce by fission or budding. Here in fission, they split, and in budding, a piece breaks off and may travel. This hydra is a piece of the hydra breaks off and plants somewhere else.